How EB-5 investors can still travel internationally after filing a concurrent EB-5 adjustment of status application. Let's say you are in the United States and have just completed a new EB-5 investment. You have filed your I-526 or I-526E petition and an application for adjustment of status, AOS, concurrently with USCIS. While waiting for these applications to be adjudicated, life continues, and inevitably, you need to travel internationally to visit family, for work, or for leisure. This video addresses the requirements and potential issues for EB-5 investors traveling with a pending AOS application. The ability of EB-5 investors to file an AOS application concurrently with their EB-5 petition is one of the most significant procedural changes brought forth by the 2022 Reform and Integrity Act to the EB-5 program. Concurrent filing gives EB-5 investors the opportunity to apply for and receive ancillary travel and work benefits, an advanced parole, AP, to travel internationally, and an employment authorization document, EAD, to work, while the EB-5 and AOS applications remain pending. The ability to work and travel internationally during the pendency of an AOS application greatly benefits EB-5 investors already living, studying, and working in the United States on a non-immigrant visa status, such as H-1B, F-1, E-2, or TN. Previously, EB-5 investors were forced to delay their immigration plans as they waited for years-long adjudication of their I-526 before filing an AOS application, but now they can file an AOS application and continue to work and travel internationally. In more welcome news, USCIS recently increased the maximum validity period of AOS-based APs and EADs from 2 to 5 years, applicable to all initial and renewal applications pending or filed after September 27, 2023. The increased validity period for these documents not only has the potential to address backlogs and improve USCIS's internal processing times, but also significantly reduces the administrative burden for EB-5 investors needing to file extensions. Depending on the non-immigrant status they hold, an investor with a pending AOS may have temporary travel restrictions or may employ different strategies when traveling internationally. Soon we will discuss the impact of traveling with a pending AOS for EB-5 investors holding common non-immigrant visa statuses, single intent visa statuses. Most non-immigrant visa statuses are single intent, generally requiring the visa holder to affirm with every entry to the United States that their visit is temporary, that their activities are consistent with the visa category they hold, and that they have significant ties to their home country that they will not abandon. Once an EB-5 investor who holds a single intent visa status applies for AOS, they have declared their intent to immigrate to the United States. Such investors and their dependents must apply for and receive an AP to travel internationally within the validity period of their AP document. If an investor on a single intent visa status, for example not H or L status, as will be further discussed later, departs the United States while their AP application is pending, the USCIS will generally deny the AOS application due to considering it as being abandoned. International students on F1 student visas. To travel internationally during the pendency of their AOS, investors on F1 status can no longer use their F1 visa and must apply for and receive an AP. Thus, F1 students should time the filing of their AP application strategically around any planned travel, given that USCIS processing can take several months and is subject to change. When re-entering the United States on their AP, F1 students will notice that their I-94 admission record will reflect DA as their class of admission rather than F1. This indicates that they are an AOS applicant, authorized to stay in the United States while their AOS remains pending. Although their I-94 no longer reflects their F1 status, their F1 status is not necessarily terminated, a decision that can only be made by USCIS or an immigration judge. Even with a pending AOS application, international students can continue to attend school and, should they qualify, remain eligible for CPT, OPT, and STEM OPT work authorization, so long as they continue to comply with all requirements for maintaining F1 status. This includes holding a valid passport, current Form I-20, and full-time course load for each semester. E2 treaty investors. The E2 is considered a single intent visa category, as E2 non-immigrants and their dependents generally must maintain an intention to depart the United States when their status expires or is terminated. Thus, E2 treaty investors with a pending EB-5 based AOS must also obtain an AP to travel internationally. Given the restriction on travel for several months, E2 non-immigrants who frequently travel may decide against concurrent AOS filing. They may instead choose to file an EB-5 petition first, renewing and traveling on their E2 visa as needed, and upon approval of their EB-5 petition, embark on the consular process to obtain conditional permanent residency. Historically, E2 visa holders with a pending or approved immigrant petition could renew their visas at a United States consulate as long as they presented proof of their intent to depart the United States upon the termination of their status. However, consular practices can change any time, and the United States consulate might deny the E2 visa to applicants who are beneficiaries of an approved or pending EB-5 petition. Given this risk, careful planning with an immigration lawyer regarding the timing of E2 extensions and starting the EB-5 immigration process is advisable. TN NAFTA professionals. Investors on TN status and their dependents also face travel restrictions after the filing of an AOS application. Similar to EB-5 investors on E2 status, TN status holders may wish to either time the filing of their AOS and ancillary AP and EAD applications around any planned travel, or decide to file an EB-5 petition first before consular processing. O1 individuals with extraordinary ability or achievement. O1 status holders are not required to show they will maintain a residence in their home country. The filing of an EB-5 immigrant petition does not prevent the O1 worker from working and traveling on their O1 status. However, once an O1 status holder files an AOS application, they will also face travel restrictions until they are issued an AP. Dual intent statuses such as H-1B or L-1. Unlike other AOS applicants, EB-5 petitioners in the United States on a non-immigrant dual intent visa status, such as the H-1B or L-1, as well as their H-4 and L-2 dependent spouses and children under 21, can choose either to travel under their valid non-immigrant status or with AP during the pendency of their AOS application without risking abandonment. If choosing to travel using their visas, H and L non-immigrants may present their valid, unexpired passport, H or L visa, and Form I-797 approval notice, or endorsed Form I-129S for blanket L visa holders, to re-enter the United States in H or L status so long as they are maintaining and remain eligible for that status. While an AP is not required for these H or L non-immigrant investors and their dependents for travel, they may find a 5-year AP useful, especially if visa renewal appointments are scarce. Using an AP to be paroled into the United States avoids the potential situation where a U.S. Customs and Border Protection (CBP) officer could shorten an H or L non-immigrant's I-94 to their passport expiration date. Note that even if an H or L non-immigrant enters using AP, their status can still be considered maintained and can be renewed as long as they depart and return in the same status to resume employment with the same employer. Conclusion. It is important to note that the possession of an advance parole document does not guarantee your ability to re-enter the United States. A CBP officer at the airport or land border will have the final say on whether you may re-enter. During the entry process, the CBP officer may ask questions about your EB-5 investment and your plans in the United States. It is important to be prepared and to answer any questions truthfully, clearly, and confidently. Every case can have varying travel requirements and strategies, and we always carefully tailor advice to the specific needs and circumstances of the EB-5 investor and their family. You should always consult with a qualified EB-5 immigration attorney before making any international travel plans.